Hi, my name is Claudia Russell, and this is my chapter 13 and 18 standpoint reflection. So, chapter 13 was really impactful for me, mainly because visual aids and presentation aids is something that I kind of struggle to use and something that I have been wanting to grow in while using. So, I really enjoyed this chapter and kind of the way it broke it down. So, really learning that presentation aids are physical, visual, and audio elements that a speaker adds to their presentation. And so, the first kind of thing when figuring out your visual aids is designing those presentation aids. So, there's three big things: is accessibility, clarity, and appeal. So, all of your audiences are diverse, and their needs are a little bit different. And so the chapter talked about universal design. So considering the diverse needs and abilities throughout the design process. So thinking about, can everybody successfully and accessibly see this? And then clarity is just easy to understand aids, easy to interpret, to see, and to hear. And then last was appeal. So this is kind of a matter of taste, but it should fit the context and purpose, but also reflect your own personal style. So making sure that it fits my audience, but then is still true to me. Something that I really want to apply throughout this is just honestly using aids in my presentations and in my speeches, but making sure that they maintain a supporting role and that they're not the forefront or the main part of my speech. Part of the chapter really talked about that I found interesting was talking about copywriting and making sure that you have permission to use and give credit to the creators who created whatever maybe music or video you're showing. I really liked, and this was just so interesting to me because I thought of like Disney movies and they're like the vault and they come out of the vault and it's like, oh, this can be recreated because it's no longer in copyright. So it talked about that work enters a public domain when the copyright expires. And it's a bare minimum of 70 years, but it can be up to more than that. And so I just thought that was so interesting because then I like thought about Disney and like how that I've seen that in my real life. So next was chapter 18. So chapter 18 was group meetings and presentations. Now I really liked this chapter because in college you do so many group presentations and have so many group meetings, and it can be so easy for everybody to pick a section, split up, and never talk about it again. And so it was just really talking about how group presentations allow you to play to your own strengths, but also the benefit from the strengths of others. So for example, I recently did a group project where our professor told us that we could do it however we wanted. So we had the people that were better at design elements and didn't like public speaking as much really work on the most of our slides. And then those of us that loved public speaking and liked presenting, we kind of took the more front load of presenting. So we both got to do what our strengths were. I really liked how the chapter defined leadership, the ability to contribute to a group and guide them towards a shared goal. And I love that it hit on this. Leadership is not the same as formal authority, or I think of it as positional. Sometimes you can be positionally above somebody, or like this said, formal authority, where you hold a recognized position in an organization, but that doesn't make you a leader. If you have to tell people that you're the leader, oftentimes they don't see you as a leader. You can see who the leader in the room is by standing on a chair and seeing who people are drawn to and who they want to listen to. So I just really love that it hit on that because that's something that I truly believe in. It kind of went into task leadership, which I really thought was kind of like my experience, helping group members to take action and prepare and practice their presentation. So there's organizers who coordinate activities and tasks, contributors, so people that provide info, solutions, clarifiers who kind of summarize those contributions and refine ideas, solutions, and actions and make those into steps. Social leadership, so creating and maintaining positive relationships between the group members. That is so important, especially in college. It's so easy to like slack off and not do your work, and then it creates tension. And then encouragers, so group members who all the group members see and are recognized as a leader, and recognize people's contributions and giving them affirmations, because everybody loves to hear and be encouraged on areas where they're doing really well. So kind of what I want to apply is how it talked about this discussion. So share information, brainstorm ideas, establish decision criteria, evaluate options, and call for a decision. So I've recently got to lead some discussions, and I wasn't really sure how to lead those. And so seeing this in this chapter, it kind of really gave me a foolproof step-by-step of practical ways to lead discussions, to lead group like meetings for presentations and stuff like that in an impactful way, and not in like a chicken scratch and everybody's kind of doing one thing type of way. So those are kind of the biggest things that I learned and I found interesting in chapter 18, but also kind of what I want to apply to my life and apply to what I'm currently doing. Thank you so much.